blade, so in this case, that segment, and the material. Right, the more contact you have between the segments and your material, the more resistance there's going to be, and the less performance you're going to put down to the material. Right. So, if like, what sort of material are you going to be cutting on your job? Like, what's your main?
Just precast or poured concrete with it's probably gonna have to be varnished.
Like windows and doors, or what are you trying to cut?
Oh no, like foundations, precast.
But I guess like what's the like, so after you cut, what's happening with your cut? Like, why are you cutting?
Why? Openings. Like garage doors, windows, HVAC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll imagine that we're cutting. You know what's underneath here?
Asphalt.
Just asphalt. Would you rather us cut into here or cut into there?
You do whatever you want, just don't go into the asphalt.
Yeah. Okay.
Go nuts.
So what we can do is we can imagine we're doing like a 1x1 opening, and then I'll kind of show you what, like how we suggest doing something like that, right? Because that's one of the cool things about this saw is you can do like a vent HVAC opening without any overcuts, and it's like the one unique tool that allows you to do that. So,
and now, is the chainsaw more for plunging or more for cutting?
both. It's the only one that really allows you to plunge, but again, you're only plunging when you have no other option. So if you're doing like a one, like let's say a 2x2 square, it's always best to do first 2 inches, then go back in 2 inches until you get to your right?
Yeah, multiple passes.
It's ideal.
Yeah.
You can plunge with it, but there's really no need for it. It's going to be faster to do it in stages.
Oh, okay.
You're going to get better diamond life.
Yeah. So if I'm trying to cut, like let's say I'm trying to cut a door, I have a weak setup, you wouldn't recommend me going the full 10 inches first and then just going straight down.
No.
So what am I doing? A 2-inch pass every time?
Yeah, 2 inches, 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 and then on your fourth. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
I guess your issue is if you're setting up harnesses and stuff, like you don't want to reset it up. Is that what you're thinking? Or?
Well, just efficiency, just time. Like that's the big thing.
It'll be faster cutting if you're doing it in stages. For sure. As long as you set. But here's the thing: like if your setup time, if it's costing you time to, to move your guide to different portions of that cut, you might find that in your unique scenario, it's quicker to do the full 10 inches and go. It's up to you. But even if you were doing that, like just say you were on this cut, do 2 inches. You're not moving. Do the other 2 inches. Do the other 2 inches, and then move to the other.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And you always want to save the bottom cut. You always want to do the bottom cut first, so that if it does fall, you're not pinching your saw.
Yeah. Okay, absolutely. And so if you do the full depth first and then just go straight down, that's going to ruin your blades.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of heat involved. It's more surface area on the blade. You're cutting, just imagine it's 8 inches deep. You're now cutting 8 inches of material at a time instead of an inch or two.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, and then with regards to material that I can cut, like we do a lot of precast cutting, and sometimes that involves a layer of insulation, whether it's styrofoam or that.
Yeah.
So how do the chains hold up with that?
So, I mean, if it's styrofoam, it should be pretty easy. Like you're kind of right through.
Yeah.
If there's any of like that geo type stuff in there, that geo type material,
It shouldn't be a concern.
Wow, the geo type material, like the stringy, like the stuff that they put underground and stuff, like the meshing material, it might.
You don't get too much of that.
Okay, it might cause it to jam.
Okay. Because like a lot of the
styrofoam, it should just.
Yeah, because it'll be concrete and then like a metal sheet like this, and then styrofoam, and then metal sheet, and then concrete.
No issue. These will go through metal very easily. The only issue is if you're going through, like, let's say, like rebar, they're designed to cut through rebar all day long. Let's say there was like an I-beam in there. You might find that in that I-beam that you're glazing over, like your diamonds are glazing over, like the metal that holds the diamonds into the segment is encapsulating that diamond, and you're no longer getting any more diamonds to cut. It's what we call glazing over. If that happens, you'll know very quickly because you'll stop seeing sparks. You'll actually have to dress your diamond chain. So the easiest way to do that is to find a brick or a block or something and just tap into it until it starts to dress itself. If you don't have material you can do that with, then you'll actually want to use like an emery cloth or sandpaper and just clean this out. But generally, if you're cutting something that has the ivy in it, there's a discarded part of that that's not like, you know, if it's the opening, let's call it the buck that you're digging out. You can just dress it on the middle of that buck until, you know, you start to see sparks again, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
Yeah,
you should.
Here we go.
let's
I'll get
demonstrate
started.
now.
Yeah.
Follow your lead.
Okay.
Let me get a video of this.
Yeah, we'll just cut through here quickly. And you'll get the idea. We don't actually have to do the full square, I don't think, but I'll just show you kind of how I would do it, and then this is turned off. And it makes a hell of a mess. So actually, I'm gonna step back.
Putting Taylor to work today.
Oh, this is getting serious.
This is the fun part of the job, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This is getting serious now.
Alright, water's on. Nice.
So right there, what you can see we're hung up on some rebar.
Yeah, I was noticing that. It was struggling with it, eh?
Yeah. So that's just, you know, you're gonna have to feel the saw out. You gotta make sure that you're not pushing on it too hard. You want to kind of let it do the job. And then with this being a new blade, like a new chain, you gotta kind of, sometimes you hope for it to be able to open up a little more before you get to that stage, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so in a situation like this, it's actually like we're just about through, so that's fine. But if it wasn't working through, like if it was just kind of staying there and you weren't getting any progress, you would take a piece of the cut that you're going to be disregarding or getting rid of, and then you would just kind of hit more of the cementitious part to dress that blade and expose more of that diamond.
Yeah. That's because I see here, like you're going at the rebar for a little while, but it's giving the saw a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, it's not like, so if I go back in there, I could like really push on it and like,
And
you know,
go through.
go through. Well, it's not that's really giving the saw trouble. Like the saw itself is spinning the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just that the diamonds are made mostly to go through concrete, right? Like
Okay, so it's mainly designed for just cast concrete and unreinforced concrete, basically.
No, it's just when you're always going to be slower, whether it's a diamond blade, a chain, or a ring blade, flat saw, you're always going to go a little slower when you go into that rebar, just because the architecture of the segment is designed to go through like cementitious material.
Right, gotcha.
Ideally.
Okay.
If you switch to like what we call a DI segment, like a ductile iron segment, it would go through that rebar like this, but then you start to struggle with the concrete, right? So it's trying to find that balance of
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Understood.
So if you were going through something with a lot of I-beams,
Yeah.
some contractors will actually have like a ductile iron blade handy, whether it's chainsaw or not, have a ductile iron one handy, do a blade swap to get through that, and then put the concrete
And put it back on. Okay. So I don't think the chain was as loose before you started cutting. When you pull out, do you have to retighten the chain every time?
Yeah, so you should be retensioning the chain throughout the life, like throughout the job. We make the tension on this super easy. It's just one screwdriver in there to adjust your
And that's
tightness.
it.
There's nothing to it.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll need, especially with this being a brand new chain.
Loosen these off, just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Loosen them off, flathead screwdriver,
That's it.
and then tighten them back.
It's like a regular chainsaw, pretty much the way you tighten it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, we should tighten it. If you're gonna cut with it, we should tighten it just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want to give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
You want me to tighten it up?
Go forward better than backwards.
Is that
because
okay?
The diamonds are directional.
Oh yeah.
So by pushing it forward, it'll cut quicker than dragging it backwards.
So forward is better.
Yes, it's like opposite of a
Of a saw.
chainsaw. Yeah.
Okay.